Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Punting in Pauper, the show where I do my best to not absolutely punt and stumble my way through some Pauper games on MTGO. I'm your host Gord. Let's take a look at the list. Today we are playing Naya Slivers. So as far as the mana base goes, we're playing 2 Blossoming Sands. That's our Selesnya duel. Comes in tapped and we gain a life off that, so just a little bit of extra fixing there. We're running 3 Evolving Wilds, so we can sacrifice it and go out and fetch a basic, and it'll enter tapped, and we usually use that to find our 1 mountain. We're only playing 1 mountain in the main deck just because we don't need red all that bad, and it's usually not that hard to find it when we do need it. So, and then the rest we just fill out with some forests and some plains here. So on to the creatures. All slivers, main deck, naturally. We do have some other types in the side, but in our 1-drop slot here, we have a plated sliver, so that's going to get all sliver creatures plus O plus 1. And that counts your opponents too, so if you're in the mirror, something to keep in mind. Sidewinder Sliver, also 1-drop 1/1. This gives all sliver creatures flanking. So what flanking does is it gives blocking creatures -1/-1. So when we swing in for big damage, big attacks, that can really lead to our opponents having some unfavorable blocks, making their creatures smaller. Helps us kind of take care of them that way. So very good, and it stacks. So if we have multiples of these out, there's multiple instances of flanking, and then they get -1/-1 for each instance of flanking. So pretty good. Next is Virulent Sliver, and all slivers have Poisonous 1. So this works similarly to Infect. It's not exactly the same. When we deal combat damage with one of these, we're still going to do damage to their life total, but we're also going to leave them with a poison counter. So if they get 10 poison counters, the opponent dies, same as Infect, but this doesn't care about combat power or attack power. So if this sliver at any point was a 4/4, it would still only deal 1 poison counter. But these do stack, so if we had all 4 of our Virulent Slivers out, it would be 4 from each. So they stack similar to the flanking. In our 2-drop slots, we are playing a bunch of lords. So we have Sinew Sliver, all sliver creatures get +1/+1. We have Muscle Sliver, all sliver creatures get +1/+1, and we also have a Predatory Sliver, which is just going to be our sliver. Sliver creatures you control get +1/+1. So 12 lords in the deck, helping us to make our slivers really big, really threatening, really fast. We also play Gemhide Sliver, so what this does is it lets our slivers tapped add 1 of any color. So that can help us find our red to play our red slivers, and it can also just help us ramp and just flood the board with them. So it's really cool when you have a turn where you're just slapping a bunch of slivers down and really overwhelming your opponents. So then in the red sliver slot, we're playing 1 Hunter Sliver. This gives all of our sliver creatures provoke, so we can make an opponent block unfavorably or pull their 1 creature away and get a more dangerous one in. So that's nice, has some good utility. And then we also play Bladeback Sliver. So this is a 2-mana 2/2. And as long as we have Hellbent, so no cards in our hand, creatures we control, or sliver creatures rather, can tap and deal 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. So useful, helps us like push through for Tron when they start flickering their stone horns and stuff like that. Right, we're also playing Winding Wave. So this is a 2-mana, choose creature or land, reveal the top 4 cards of our library, and then we're going to put all cards of the chosen type revealed this way into our hand and the rest in our graveyard. So we usually use this just to find some more slivers once we kind of run out and refill our hands. Pretty good rate at 2 mana. And then Lead the Stampede, very similar, 3 mana. We're going to look at the top 5 of our library. We can reveal any number of creature cards among them, so we can't find lands, but that's okay. Like I said, we're usually looking for some more slivers. And then we just put them in our hand, and the rest on the bottom in any order. So that is the main deck. Pretty efficient, pretty straightforward to the point. We're going to swing in with some slivers and try to win on an aggro plan. Now, in the sideboard, we have 2 Hallows. So what this does is prevent all damage target spell would deal this turn, and then you gain life equal to the damage prevented this way. So nice against burn, you know, if they're going to bolt you or whatever, you can just Hallow and stop that 3 and gain 3 instead. Speaking of burn, we're also playing 2 Crimson Acolytes. What that does is it itself has protection from red, and we can just pay a white to give one of our creatures protection from red. We have Standard Bearers, which if Standard Bearers on the board, if an opponent were to cast a spell that has a target, they have to choose Standard Bearer. So we just use it as protection for our slivers mostly. Obsidian Acolyte here. similar to the Crimson, 2 mana, 1/1. It's pro black, and for a white, it gives another target creature protection from black. So help us get away from some of that removal. I'm just gonna grab the Leave No Trace here. This is a really good spell. So 2 mana, instant speed, and it has Radiance. So destroy target enchantment and each other enchantment that shares a color with it. So in certain matchups, this can really, really clear the board of opponents' enchantments and help us kind of take care of the creatures. Like when I think of this, I think of decks like Boggles and Mono White Heroic. We also have Deface for some artifact hates. One red, just destroy target artifact, or destroy target creature with Defender, which actually comes into play against the mono red lists, the burn lists that play the 0/3 that taps and does 1 damage. So that one kind of modal that way, but mostly using it for artifacts, but does come into play sometimes. Works against Mnemonic Wall too for Tron. We have an extra Hunter Sliver in here. We have an Electrickery. And then we have 2 Healers of the Glade. Again, help us race burn. 1 mana, 1/2, that when it enters the battlefield, we gain 3 life. So, alright, that's the deck list. We're going to get into some games here. Alright, Punting and Pauper with some Slivers. We win the die roll, we'll play first. Let's see what we have. Okay, so we have 3 Lords, we have Gem Hide. With this hand, we are starting a little bit slow. But I think we'll try it, see what happens. We are on the play, so we can go a little bit faster. We'll just Evolving Wilds here for a white source. Opponent mulligans to 6. Alright, so we will play Evolving Wilds. We'll crack it down. We'll just grab things. And we'll pass the turn to our opponent. Opponent plays Great Furnace, then Navigator's Compass, so this could be Affinity. So they're going to gain 3 life off that. Okay. So we are going to throw down Predatory Sliver. So next turn we swing for 3 with 2 Lords on board, so let's see what opponent does. Okay, so they're going to change this into another color with their Navigator's Compass. So it's an island, alright? And they play Witching Well. Okay, so they get to scry to you. Okay. Alright, so we draw a Forest. So this time we did Predatory Sliver. And Sidewinder Sliver. Increase our clock a little bit. Next time if we draw a land, we can drop 2 Lords and get in for a pretty big hit. So, we'll get in for 3. Affinity does have quite a few ways to deal with our stuff, so something to keep in mind. So they take 3 down to 20. So if we can resolve both Lords next turn, we can swing for 15. Okay, yeah. Sideboards. Alright, what do we want against Affinity? I think we bring in Crimson Acolytes, because a lot of the removal is red. We'll bring in Standard Bearer. And do we have Artifact Hate? That's enchantments. I don't think they do much for enchantments. And Hallow is prevent all damage target spell would do. So, okay, we will go down our Hunters and Blade backs, just to keep the deck a little bit more consistent on color-wise anyways, so we'll try it like that. Oh, let's see. So we have a turn 1 Plated, turn 2 Sinew, and then we can Winding Way for some more when we have lands in our hand. So yeah, we'll keep this. We're a little bit faster this way, being on the draw. Great finish for Navigator's Compass again, yep. And they gain 3. We draw Lead the Stampede, so that's not too bad. We will just play out our Plated Sliver. They get their Seat at the Synod. Okay, so opponent might have some smoother running this turn. Might have been a little bit land screwed last time. And Chromatic Star, you got it. So, they're already up to 4 Affinity. So yeah, there's Thoughtcast. So they get to draw 2 off that, and it has Affinity for artifacts, so these 4 artifacts take care of the 4 colorless. So, really efficient way to draw cards. Alright. we draw ourselves in another Evolving Wilds. Okay, well, we will just play out a Sinew Sliver. And we will attack for 2. So next turn we're going to Winding Way, in case we hit a 1-drop Sliver. Or if we draw a 1-drop Sliver next turn, then we can Winding Way and do that. But if we hit another Lord, we'll just play that. They have their Darksteel Citadel. Witching Will, okay, yep, so they'll scry too. So they can still fix for blue with the compass here, so that's, and the star for that matter, so that's worth keeping in mind. Okay, so they make their Great Furnace into another color. I'm gonna guess Island. Oh, Forest, okay. So, and then there's the Carapace Forger. Yeah, okay, so it gets +2/+2 as long as they control 3 or more artifacts, which they definitely do, so they got a 4/4. So we can't just go swinging anymore, but that's okay. We draw Plains. So I think we're going to Winding Way first. And for creatures. We hit another Plated Sliver, so we can do this, play out our Plated Sliver. And then next turn we can drop our Predatory Sliver, hopefully hit another Sliver on the draw, and then we'll be able to just block this Forger and swing effectively, so. We will not go to combat, just pass it back over to the opponent. Okay, so they get a Vault of Whispers. Prism, so they get a redraw out of that. And they have 2 mana right now, so that's nice. Oh, but they have a Mirror Enforcer, which doesn't really care. Affinity for artifacts, so. Okay, we got 2 4/4s, and we have 3 2/4s. And they terminate our Lord, so, okay, yep. So I'm glad we brought in the Standard Bearers and such, but, okay, we'll take that 4. Hopefully we can draw another Lord. And we do, so that's good. So we can Predatory Sliver, Predatory Sliver, and now we can effectively swing in for 3, right? And then we have blockers on the back, so they only have 1 card in hand. And Slivers wants to be an aggressive deck, so we're going to try to punch in for as much as we can here. They might just take 6. Okay. I guess why would they? They have no downside to blocking there. So, alright. So now, as long as nothing changes, we can effectively block all their cards. They're digging for removal, I would imagine. So, okay, they get another Compass, so they're going to gain 3. They kind of negated our attack, but I'm glad we still swung. They got another Enforcer. Seems good. They don't attack. Alright. We draw Winding Way. Well, we'll play the Evolving Wilds. And Winding Way. Naming creatures. We hit Virulent and Sinew. So we're just going to play out the Sinew. Okay. We'll crack our Wilds. A bit of Plains. We'll just do it now. We'll save ourselves. I know technically we should probably be doing that on their end step, but alright. Now, do we want to attack here? If we swing in with everything, they can double block our Lords. I think we want to wait till we get a Sidewinder Sliver down, make them a little bit smaller. Okay, yeah, we'll just pass the turn here. So if they kill one of our Lords, we still have enough toughness to block all their stuff. And they, as of right now, are only drawing 1 card, so. They could draw removal, but, or card draw itself. Yep, they sacked the Witching Will to draw 2 more. You get another Darksteel Citadel and another Mirror Enforcer. Alright. So we draw a Muscle Sliver. So that's actually pretty good for us. We can go Muscle Sliver, Virulent Sliver, Sidewinder Sliver. So everything is going to get flanking and become 3/3s. we can effectively swing in with everything because it'll take all of their creatures. They're losing that trade big time. So yeah, we'll play our evolving wilds. Forget about it. We're gonna crack it. Grab our forest. And we'll attack with everything. They might just have a fog effect here. Very possible, but... So they're going to do it that way, so all their stuff's going to die. Well, they're all going to get -1, -1. Then they're going to take 5? Right, they have a land. What do you have, opponent? Star draw, yep, you got it. They play another star, yep, draw another card. Digging. They're digging. Draw another card. Come on. Yeah! Slivers! Woo! Aggro. Did it. Look at that. 5/7s. Sweet. I love it. On to the next one. Alright. Trying our best to slay it, Sliver style. We won the die roll. We'll play first. Alright. This isn't an awful hand, and we do have gem hides to play out our blade backs. So, yeah, we'll try it. We don't know what we're up against. So we're just gonna do a plains and a plated sliver. And then if it's like a mono black, can't defile it, turn 1. Alright. We draw, or they draw. They play plains, okay. We draw another gem hide, so we roll this, gem hide. Good in for 1. Great, end of our turn. One cycle secluded step. So is this heroic, maybe? Defiant strike. Okay, so they're doing that to draw a card, I take it? Interesting. Maybe they're really starving. So there's the Death Bleed. Okay. So they can start provoking and stopping combat damage, but that's not actually the worst thing in the world. So do we want to give anything flanking, or do we just want to get our Lord out? I guess we can do a couple things, because we have our gem hide. So, let's Sidewinder Sliver. And Sinew Sliver. Alright. And we'll get in with our plated. That's flanking now, so if they try to block at all, it just, the Death Blade dies. So this is heroic. Opponent has Ethereal Armor, yep, you got it. If first strike, so they can kill our stuff now, which is unfortunate. They can provoke. And then they do Sentinel's Eyes. Okay, so that's pretty good for them. They get in, probably provoke. Taking our gem hide, okay. Now we have to block. And opponent plays Sacred Cat. Okay. So we're in a bit of a pickle, because if we just swing in, we're going to lose stuff now. Okay, we got Virulent Sliver, but that's... Okay, we'll play out our gem hide. We'll add red, white, let's say for a blade back. And then we'll add green for a Virulent. So we just want to get as many slivers out on the battlefield as possible. If we can get all our stuff out now, we can activate our blade backs. If we can empty our hand and just go hellbent and start pinging them to the face. Puts us in a bit of a situation either way. Now they got an 8/8 Death Blade that we can't really kill. Okay, so Trailblazer. Opponent plays Hyena Umbra on Laguna Man, so it gets to be a 2/6 by the time this is all said and done. Growing their Death Blade at the same time, so things are getting bad for us. No denying it. Let's see what they take. The Virulent Sliver. Okay. So that's fine. So next turn, worst case scenario. Best case scenario, we... So we're gonna green. Tap to add red for a Bladeback Sliver. So now we got 4 to ping them with. And whenever they provoke, we'll just activate it. So it's not the best plan out there, but it is a plan, and it's the one we're gonna have to roll with for now, so. A cartouche, yep. They go to combat, likely swing in with both. No, okay. They're gonna provoke this Bladeback. That makes sense. So in response, we'll tap it and hit him for 1. I wonder if we did that afterwards, would we be able to... Nah. We'll try it next time. End of their turn, we'll hit them for 3. They do have lifelink on the Sacred Cat, so that's a little annoying, but that's okay. We draw Muscle Sliver. Well, we'll play it. And that's all we got. We'll pass the turn. No point swinging in, we just lose stuff, so. They probably take our blade back, I assume, this turn, with the Deathblade Elite, so. So they provoke. So if we let that ability resolve, and then tap this. Does that get around it? Oh, it does, right? So that we don't have to block with that one, we can block with Gemhide? Okay. Well, we took 12, because I didn't know how to tap it correctly. But we did find a way to get around the provoke, so that's pretty good. Okay, so they're gonna do that. Right. And they play out another elite. Okay. Then on their end step, we're gonna hit them for 4, right? Yep, so that's not too bad. Oh! So opponent sees what we can do, right? We can hit him for 4, untap, hit him for 5, and then all we have to do is survive another turn. So, nice! Okay, cool, sideboards. So Bladeback Sliver, pretty good for us. Leave no trace. Yeah, bring that in for their enchantments. Hallow, prevent all damage target spell. I don't think we need that. Electrickery? I don't think so. Crimson Acolyte and Standard Bearer? I don't think so. They might bring in Journeys, but we are doing the Leave No Trace. So, and then Obsidian gains protection from black. They have no black. So we will go down a Hunter Sliver and a Virulent Sliver. And we will try it like this. Well, we have mana. We have 2 slivers, and we have our Leave No Traces in hand. So I think we're just going to keep that to try to keep their creatures at a reasonable toughness. So we'll keep us. We're on the draw, so who do they have? Deathblade, you got it. So we'll play a Plains. We'll Plated Sliver. They could very easily pump this and kill our Sliver this turn. But for the most part, I'm okay with it, just to get some cards out of their hand. They did get a redraw there, so okay. So next turn we just roll it up. So we'll play a Forest. We'll just pass turn. We'll do it on their turn. It is an instant spell, so they can feel free to throw another enchantment on there, because we'll just be able to blow it up too. So they're going to attack like that. So we're just going to blow this up now. Take one. Then we have another one for something else that they stack up real big. And a Trailblazer, so okay. Oh, and a Sacred Cat. Okay. Well, we can deal with those for the most part. Especially if we can get them into Ganon. So we draw another land. So we'll play this. I think we'll just play out our Gemhide Sliver. Let's get one on the battlefield. And then we're ramping a little bit, have access to a little bit more mana next turn so that we can lead the Stampede and leave no trace if they don't kill the Sliver with their Deathblade here. They get another Sacred Cat. Okay, so they're gonna kill that. They might pump their creature, but rather than pump their creature to kill a Gemhide than to punch it for that last extra little bit of damage. So, or they might even just pay to provoke or blank it, but that makes less sense. Okay, so sure, kill our Sliver. We draw another 4, so we'll play Plains. Now we do. I think we just do need to lead the Stampede here. We don't want to be like too behind just to leave no trace. Don't want to do nothing. So, and this is pretty decent creatures to find. If we could get a red source or another Gemhide, that'd be ideal. But it's fine. Pretend we have a Mana Tithe. This opponent has Cartouche. They're gonna put it on the Deathblade. Okay. I'll make another 1/1. And they'll get in for 4 and gain 2. That's okay. Then they play another Laguna. Okay. So they're getting pretty wide. We draw Sidewinder Sliver. Play a Forest. Whoops. We'll play out Predatory Sliver. Then we'll Plated Sliver. And Sidewinder Sliver. So this lets us block for a little bit. And then, hopefully we can get down. Well, we will be able to get these two out of our hand if we want to, but Blade Back might be a little bit trickier. We can kind of block forever. Like, again, if they want to pump and kill our stuff, it is what it is. Hopefully we can get a red source or like a lead or a Winding Way here soon. If they attack, that means they have something. Okay, so no, they don't have anything. Draw another Sidewinder Sliver, so okay, we'll play the Forest. And I guess we will Sidewinder Sliver. Now if we swing in here, we get 2 instances of flanking, so everything will get -2, -2. And that gets us in for 2, 4, 6, 8. But then we're leaving ourselves open to a pretty bad blowout. But we do have a Leave No Trace to shrink all their stuff. So I think we're just going to go for the attack here. So we'll attack. And then if they want to kill some stuff of theirs, that's good too. And maybe they won't realize how flanking works. They only have 1 card in hand. So okay. Okay. So they could have pump spells to put on it afterwards, but they could only do 1. Okay, so that was a good trade for us, I think, to get rid of the Laguna Bands. Those would have been kind of the ones that would be harder for us to really deal with, so. Okay, so opponent scoops it up. For what it's worth, at this point, they were down to 2 cards. If they weren't able to find anything, we had a Leave No Trace to blow up their enchantments, and Blade Back to give us some reach in the end if we could find a red source. And we would have been able to just kind of keep swinging in this board state and making their stuff lose toughness, and then basically not even be blocking at that point. So, yeah, right on. We beat Heroic. Alright, so how did the deck do this week, punting in Pauper? Well, our first matchup against Affinity went pretty well. It seems like potentially our opponent stumbled a little bit early, which just goes to show, I guess, the aggressive power of the deck, because we were able to kind of present a lot of damage there quite early on, and I think opponent just scooped it up to kind of save themselves the time on the clock and just, you know, side in, try to get some better running. And they did. They had much better running on the second game. But we were still able to, pump out some slivers and then eventually get like our flanking stacked up. We had really big bodies, and there wasn't really a whole lot our opponent can do. We kind of overwhelmed them, which is kind of the whole point. Forgot to side into face to blow up their artifacts. A little bit of a punt there, but at the end of the day, we kind of fixed our colors and brought in the other creatures, so it worked out for us. We won that one. It was pretty cool. So match 2, we played Heroic. In that first game, they had a really big Deathblade elite, and it kind of mashed us for a while, but we were still able to get up, go wide, and eventually figure out that we could tap our Bladeback Sliver in response to the provoke. So ideally, the way that would have worked is they provoke a creature. In response, we tap it, deal them for 1. The provoke untaps it, and then we tap it again after the ability is resolved and hit them for 2. So they were giving us just some more activation. So once that point kind of reached, the opponent scooped it up from there and saw what we could do as well. So now the second game, I'm not sure if opponent knew how flanking worked, because we were able to take out their Laguna bands there, that late game swing. That was a pretty balanced game, I would say, when all is said and done. But yeah, I'm not sure if they knew how flanking worked, and that was when we kind of just killed off their Laguna bands, and those were probably the biggest threats to us at that point, just because of the huge toughness and the ability for them to get even bigger from there. They were a little low on cards, so either way, we were very successful this week. The deck is a lot of fun. It's definitely not tier 1. There's other decks out there that really can tune it, as it were. But it's a lot of fun to play. I really enjoyed it. I think I'm going to keep messing around with this one. I'm going to switch up the sideboard, I think, a little bit. Try out some different cards for some different matchups. Take it in some leagues and see how it goes. So I just want to thank everybody for, once again, joining me here on Punting and Pauper. Go ahead, let me know in the comments what you thought of this video, and let me know. I did this one a little bit shorter than the other one, so trying to kind of cut down on some time. So let me know what you like, what you want to see more of, what you want to get out of this series. Once again, thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.